Ghalib Mirza Ghalib, he explains this dilemma in his one of the couplets very beautifully. He says that आते हैं गैब से ये मज़ामी ख्याल में, गालिब सरीर खामा नवाए सरोश है. That Ghalib, these ideas come from the unknown world, and the sound of the pen when you are writing with it, it is not the sound of the pen, but it is the sound of the footstep of the angel who carries the idea. Good morning. My name is Mohammad Tariq, and this presentation is for the partial fulfillment of my FIP 9 at HREC AMU. The topic of my presentation is writing process and how to make your writing effective. So in today's talk, I have categorized my conversation into three different parts. First part, I'll be talking about the definition of writing, meaning of writing, and in the second part, we'll be talking about the process of writing, the phases of writing, and in the third part, we'll be talking about how to make your writing effective. Coming to the first part that we have promised, that is definition of writing and meaning of writing. People and scholars say that effective writing is always a composed thinking, and therefore writing is thinking. They also define that writing is showing the world through a window pane. Effective writing is always a rewriting. Best writing is always a rewriting. Writing is also said to be one of the four skills of language. There is LSRW: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Among these four skills, we understand, we come to know that writing is the hardest skill to acquire, and there are scholars and there are professors that say that writing is a technology. If we have to use this technology, we have to learn it how to use. We also come to know that writing belongs to one of the applied sciences, and implied sciences means if you learn, you start living with those sciences, and it directly makes you employable. It is something which by which you can start earning. So the systematic composition always has three phases, or it has to go through these three processes, that we call pre-writing phase, pre-writing process, writing process or writing phase, and post-writing phase or post-writing process. Coming to the first part, as we mentioned, that is a pre-writing phase. In pre-writing phase, we have to think about four things, essentially four things. One is analysis of the audience. The second one is the identification of the purpose, and the third one is the scope determination, and the fourth one is the analysis of the desired action. This is something I call APSA: audience, purpose, scope, and action. Let us understand this in a different way. Let me ask a question like, who will be your reader? You have to understand this very carefully. So who will be your reader determines your audience. And second question would be, why are you writing? What is the purpose of your writing? The third one will be, what is the possibility of success? When you write something, you have to think about the possibility of the success. That is called scope. And the fourth one is, will be the intended result of your text or your piece of writing. So the fourth question, what will be the intended result, determines the desired action. So before writing anything, before writing in general or in particular, we have to keep all these four aspects in our mind. And if we keep in our mind these four things, the writing appears to be effective, and there are more chances that your writing will be effective and receptive. Now comes the soul part. Now Now coming to the main part of writing phase, and that was the second phase, writing phase or writing process, main writing process. Writing phase is always supposed to be organizing your ideas in a rough draft. So usually it has three categories. So the first category that we have is brainstorming. In brainstorming, what we do, we stress on calling ideas from our mind, and inviting ideas on certain topic, pondering over some situation and context, and collecting and recollecting the ideas. So this is what we call brainstorming. You storm your mind with different ideas on a particular topic or subject. So there has been a huge debate that from where the ideas come. We have never ever been able to find one specific answer to this, that from where the ideas come to mind. There was a poet long ago, Ghalib Mirza Ghalib. He explains this dilemma in his one of the couplets very beautifully. He says that आते हैं गैब से ये मज़ामी ख्याल में, गालिब सरीर खामा नवाए सरोश है. That Ghalib, these ideas come from the unknown world, and the sound of the pen when you are writing with it, it is not the sound of the pen, but it is the sound of the footstep of the angel who carries the idea into your mind. So he gives a divine touch to the source of the idea from where it arrives to your mind. So brainstorming is one of the, I think, key features of writing, and that is, I think, that is pre writing phase in one way or the other. Now uh, now comes the second part of writing phase, that is free writing. In free writing, what we do, we have to in free writing, we have to collect and record all the ideas, whatever the ideas that we have in our mind, on page. It is said that good writing is clear thinking that makes things visible, and it is the painting of your voice. There is a fallacy most of the times. What happens, that people at the same time they start committing mistakes. A writer is supposed to have is supposed to play two different roles. The first role is the role of a writer, and the second role is the role of an editor. What happens in most of the cases, in majority of the cases, that these two different roles are mixed together, and therefore the writing is affected hugely. In majority of the cases, what we do, we when we start writing, we also start editing at the same time. There is a mistake, and experts say that whenever you are writing, you just write, and you do not try to correct your mistakes, or you do not try to edit, because the role of an editor comes later, when you are done with the recording of your ideas. In writing phase, there comes a third category, that is the mind mapping. In mind mapping, what we do, we when we are done with collecting and recording the ideas, we have to put these ideas in a rational way, in a logical way. We set the ideas in a way so that it could be understood. Now comes the post writing phase. In the post writing phase, what we have to do is that we have to play the role of an editor now, because we asked you to stop playing the role of an editor while you are writing. Now here in the post writing phase, the first thing that you have to do is playing the role of an editor. So you have to edit the entire writing. In post writing phase, after the editing, you have to read and reread the same draft at least more than 3 times. After that, if you have time, you can go for evaluation and organization, and even if you have, I think this one is one of the essential parts, is setting and resetting, or structuring and formatting of the text that you have written. And I think at the end, you can, if you have enough time, you can go for critical examination of your composition. You can analyze critically, so that whether it can acquire, it can achieve the desired action or not. There are a couple of tips that I usually discuss with my students, and one of them is that your writing should have magnitude. It should be magnitudinal. Magnitude means it should have some grace. There should be certain type of grace when you are composing something, or when you are writing something. So the other meaning of the word magnitude in Aristotelian term is that it should be whole. It should be complete. Your composition, your writing should look complete. It should have beginning, middle, and an end. So complete means having a beginning, having a middle, and having an end. I add a couple of more things into it, that it should have proper beginning and proper middle and proper end. There is a linguist. He suggests that communication should have four maxims. Effective communication should have four maxims, and these maxims are the maxims of quality, maxims of quantity, maxims of relation, and maxims of manner. For maxims of quality, he says that there should be truth. You should be truthful while you are writing and composing something. And in the second maxims, that is maxims of quantity, he says that there should be proper quantity. You should not be full of information that is not required. You should not discuss those informations which are not required. The third maxim, that is the maxim of relation. He said that the writing should be relevant when you have analyzed the audience and scope, and then desired action. You should be relevant to it. You should not talk irrelevant things while writing, or maybe while talking. In the maxim of manner, he says that you have to be perspicuous. Perspicuous means the writing should be composed in an easy way, and it should also be understood easily. Therefore, there was a professor of mine in the university. He used to say that you should have a kiss while effective communication, and that is so he decoded kiss into keep it short and simple. So therefore, I always discuss with my students that keeping your writing short and simple is the hardest thing that we have to do. It is a phrase that easy writing is always a hard writing. There is a very famous couplet in Urdu for this problem, and that is ये नहीं देखते कितनी है रियाजत किसकी, लोग आसान समझ लेते हैं आसानी को. So this phrase is quite relevant here, that log आसान समझ लेते हैं आसानी को. Whenever you're writing your composition, it is easy. It does not mean that it has been written easily. So this is something that we have to understand. This is something that we ignore the most. So this is all for today's talk. Today we talked about three different things. So the first one was the definition of writing, and the second one was process of writing, or phases of writing, and the third one was the concept of effective writing, and some tips. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.